Hello, my name is Mordred Viking, and I'd like to welcome you to the stream of Europa Universalis IV. This is the Community Clash, and we are back again this week with a few new countries. So, Muscovy, Castile, and the Papal States all quit, which caused me a humongous headache because two of those countries, the Papal States and Castile, were at war, and the Papal States were fully occupied. So, yeah. We did manage to get a replacement for Castile, so we do have a new Castile player, and we've also got a new player for Muscovy, which we'll take a look at later. We have entered a special agreement for this week for the Papal States, which is Florence can take one province and money and war reparations. The Ottomans can take one province plus more money and war reparations, because I'd kind of like there to be a playable Papal States for the future. So they'll be protected for the remainder of this session. And then if we still have no replacement for next session, then they're good to go for anyone. So, yeah. Lots and lots of things going on. Many player wars still being involved. So Aragon, Castile, Britain, Florence. I think Portugal were all in the same war. And then Ottomans were in a separate war against the Papal States. So we need to just see Florence taking their province, which I'm going to guess is this one. And then the Ottomans will have their opportunity to take one as well. Yes, the Ottomans are very scary in this. The Ottomans have actually completed 2 of their 4 goals. And are well on the way to the 3rd. And bearing in mind you need 4 completed goals to win, they were getting kind of close. So I definitely do foresee there being a bit of a showdown between the Ottomans and Florence. There we go. Florence has just taken Rome, which connects up their Neapolitan territories. And then the Ottomans will be given an opportunity to peace out as well. And we should be good from there. The other war still... Alright, Castile is still in the war against these guys. And Castile should have given up Gibraltar, which I think is what the deal being made between the new Castellan player and England. So there we go. Peace is once again breaking out in Europe, slowly but surely. And believe me, this took a lot of talking behind the scenes, because 3 players quitting in one session, 3 big players quitting in one session is a massive blow. It irritates me when people just quit. Fine, you lost a war, big deal. It's Europa Universalis IV. One of the genius things about this game is you can bounce back. So yes, you might hear me moaning about that once or twice, even though I promised to myself that I wouldn't. Where's my notification tab? There you are. Refresh you down to there. Twitch plays Pokemon Joa. Thank you very much for the follow. Welcome to the channel. And we have a hot join. Calico's coming in. So we've got our French player as well. Cool. So I think there are only 1 or 2 players missing today. Going through my list. So Tunis is not here. Unfortunately, he is stuck in Italy at the moment and his plane was cancelled. The Knights are not here. And they are protected for this session. Austria is not here. The remnants of Austria. And they are also protected for this session. France just arrived, so they're not protected. And then the last thing is, unfortunately, Bohemia has now missed 2 sessions in a row, so Bohemia is not protected. And I have a feeling that vultures are definitely circling around the Bohemian turf. Prussia likely wants a piece. Poland likely wants a piece. The Ottomans might try to grab some as well. They do actually have a direct border. And then Trier may also try to grab some of that turf too. But I'm very curious to see what other agreements be made. Like, a lot of players are very well aware of how strong the Ottomans are right now, and it is going to take a combined player coalition to take them down. Also, Muscovy is going to be feeling a little hard done by with the new Muscovite player, Gorm, because he's lost Moscow and Novgorod, which are both required to form Russia, and otherwise he's got all of the requirements to do it. So I do wonder if there's been some backroom deals being done with Muscovy and some of the other states to maybe get some revenge. The other thing is I've asked the Timurids not to go into India again, because I was intending to open India up to new players this session, but because we needed to find so many replacements, and those are all players that would probably be in India right now, I've asked the Timurids to hold off going after India, with the exception of Delhi. I allowed him to go after Delhi, because he's already been super patient with us. How long are these sessions? 3 hours. So this is from 3 PM, so we are late starting, and I do apologise for that. Until... well, I'm going to have to leave at 5 too, so we'll need to finish a little bit early. In fact, I should probably tell the Kaiserreich Weekly people I'm going to be on a very tight switchover, and they should be aware of this fact. Let me just send this message to him. Okay, they're aware. Alright, so Calico has joined, so we do now have them. Anyway, let's go and introduce the new players. We have got some new blood. And I need to remember where on earth the player map mode is. There it is! We've got the Martian stepping in to replace CPM in Castile. I know that CPM has been talking to the Martian about what his plans in the future were and kind of what he wanted to do. The players have also been given their secret goals, so I do know that Castile has a couple of tricks up his sleeve. And then we've got Gorm replacing Darkfighter up in Muscovy. He does have a few pieces to pick up, certainly, having, like I said, lost Novgorod and also Moscow. But Muscovy is still a hugely strong nation, and with the right allies, they could certainly come back and retake those territories from the Polish. Plus, I suspect a couple of other players will be looking at the combined Poland-Lithuania right now going, they're a bit big. That's a bit scary. Huzzah! So I do hope to see some revenge being brought in against them. And then the last one is Dr. Coxon has quit from the Papal States. We do not yet have a replacement for the Papal States, so hopefully we'll get a new one of those. I do know that we have 1 or 2 other players who are thinking about joining next week, and if you would like to be one of those players, then do let me know as soon as possible. Send me a message on Discord, which you can find at this link here. And there we are. Thanks for doing these community multiplayer games, Mordred is my favourite Twitch streamer. I appreciate that, Twitching. Thank you. And I do enjoy doing these multiplayers as well, even if, though, the players do sometimes give me some headaches. Like, one rule I've been kind of trying to impose for myself is if there's bad blood between players, I try not to get involved. Like, obviously, I don't want people quitting. That's the worst thing, and I don't want people leaving the game because of bad blood between players. Hello.
Is that 5 minutes? I haven't been paying attention.
It's definitely been 5 minutes, yeah, I'd say go ahead.
Alright, I'm pausing.
Okay. Alright, so there we go. We are now beginning the game. So, what I was saying is, I definitely don't want there to be bad blood between players, but a lot of this game is just diplomacy, and a lot of that could also be propaganda, and I don't want to get involved myself. It's not worth my mental madness doing that for each and every player conflict that may arise through the course of one of these games. So I try to like stay a little bit distant and just be a rules arbiter, but because we had 3 people leaving in one go, I did have to kind of step in myself and try and fix a couple of things. But we do seem to have replacements for everyone who's
Mordred?
the Papal States. Hello.
So, Bacon is trying to join?
Yeah. I said he was going to be allowed to join as one of Val's trade cities.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't let him have one of the big nations, but he can be a trade city.
I didn't know, because with everything that went on, whether or not to accept.
Yeah, no, I allowed it.
Alright, he is coming in then.
Cool. Hopefully this is the last of the hot joins. Are the Ottomans and Venice allies? They're just not fighting. They're just not fighting. Like, Venice doesn't really have any of their goals which are against the Ottomans. Their goals are mostly going towards the Mamluks and beyond. They want to try and get to India, I believe. And that is one of the things that we should be looking at a little bit more this session. So, last time we talked about the Ottomans. We talked, I think, about the Papal States. I think we talked about Poland. I'm trying to remember precisely which nation's goals we got into. I'm going to assume that we didn't talk about Poland, because Poland, a couple of interesting things have arisen regarding them, and I would like to click on Poland once this is done. But anyway, Poland's goals are at the moment to become the defender of the Catholic faith and keep it for 25 years. And they need to actually mark down when they get it, because that's not recorded in the game itself. I can just kind of look back at these, play the videos, because if I go to the religion overview, then the details are in there, and it will show me who the defender of the faith is at any particular time, and then I can just glance at what the date is and see if it has indeed been 25 years. He must also own East and West Prussia area, which is these bits. So I do wonder if Poland and Prussia have an agreement saying Prussia can own this until they form Prussia, and obviously Prussia has now been formed. So I'm wondering if any deals are about to be finished regarding that, or if Poland, for whatever reason, has not gone to war with Prussia to stop them forming Prussia, because those are also the territories that Prussia required. They need to have a border with Ming. They need to own the entirety of the Baltic, the Ruthenia, and Pontic steppes. So if we just go very quickly to the region map mode, they need to have the Baltics, the Ruthenian, and the Pontic steppe. All of that needs to be theirs, which is one of the reasons they've been quite aggressively going after Muscovy. And then they also need to be the #1 great power, which they are not actually that far off. They're currently number 4. The Ottomans are in first, with 1,063 development. Then France with 700, Ming with 1,100, and then Poland. I know it's modified by tech, and actually Poland is losing a lot from tech. They would in fact be second if they get rid of the tech modifier. Anyway, the thing that I wanted to bring up with the Poles is they need to be the defender of the Catholic faith, and I immediately am seeing a problem with them becoming the defender of the Catholic faith because they have converted to Reformed. And having been talking to Fizzbiscuits, who is playing as Poland, it's because the Reformation actually spawned in Malbok, Marienburg, and they decided, yeah, this is going to be too much of a problem to contend against, so I'm just going to convert to Reformed myself, and we'll deal with that. So he's basically lost access to one of the goals already. He might switch back to Catholic and try and get that goal actually completed, but I do think that at this stage that would be a bit of a mistake, because at the moment he's benefiting from zeal in being able to convert all of his provinces, but so it goes. Yeah. And Poland was also supposed to be one of the natural allies for the Papal States. I was very much like, I designed Poland with that goal in mind, saying, okay, you're going to stay Catholic, so you're probably going to be having a vested interest in seeing to the Papal States' well-being. That didn't occur, and now Poland is no longer Catholic. That's definitely going to make the job of a lot of the Catholic nations, which is really only Iberia. Oh no, it's not. It's Trier and Cologne, and Bohemia, apparently, as well. Although Bohemia is kind of a weird one, because Bohemia's not been here for 2 sessions, which is basically the 2 sessions covering the Reformation. And Bohemia was supposed to be the grand champion. They were the Papal States of the Protestant faith, but they haven't even converted, and there are no centres of Reformation in Germany itself. There's a couple down in Italy, there's one in France, there's one in Britain, and then there's one in Poland. So, yeah. Germany is just not converting, which is probably a good thing for Cologne and Trier, because they also have vested interests in staying Catholic. And this is very much me trying to design a replacement for the Religious League wars. Like, the Religious League, which the Holy Roman Empire enables, allows for a much more finessed and nice mechanics, because you also have some countries which will join either side trying to ensure the Treaty of Westphalia, which was one of the Ottoman goals. But now that we have no HRE, it means we have no Religious League, means I have to basically design new goals which have the Religious League struggles in mind, because I really wanted the Reformation to be a big shift in terms of player alliances. It's one of those opportunities where you can really screw with the hug boxes and things that have been forming throughout the game so far. And usually religion just doesn't matter that much to players. And then saying, okay, religions matter because they are now one of your victory conditions, I think added a really interesting new slant to this. So I'm kind of happy with that. What exactly does the Force Religion War Goal do? It allows you to force them to switch religion. Okay, so that is Poland. Let's go and take a look at Portugal. And in the meantime, all of the nations are at peace. So what did the... No, of course. Papal States don't currently count as an enemy, so the Ottomans are just going to be gobbling up Italy at the moment. And again, they have the same rule. They can take one province. Because they joined the war after Florence, but they were legitimately in the war when the Papal States pulled out. So allowed Florence to take one province and allowing the Ottomans to take one province. And then they are protected after that, so that hopefully we get a replacement Papal State. Because the Papal States are still in a strong position. They're still bigger than the Papal States were at the start of the game. And they still have natural allies with the Catholic world, which is Cologne, Trier, and Castile. All of them, like I said, having a vested interest in keeping the Pope alive. Alright, so we were going to go and talk about Portugal. So Portugal needs to have a colonial nation in 5 different colonial regions. So if we go over to this, they need to be in 5 different areas of this coloured thing. They are currently, I think, uniquely in Brazil. So they might be just trying to get a big enough colony to just maintain Brazil, and then they'll move out somewhere else. Probably the Caribbean, possibly Mexico. But they do have a lot of options there, and their goal is to have colonial nations, so at least 5 provinces in at least 5 different areas. So they need to be quite spread out, and they're going to need to be pretty much in conflict with a lot of other people who are going to be doing colonial nations. That's one of the reasons I did that, is because I wanted there to be colonies everywhere. And again, another of the conflict-driving goals is colonialism. And this should cause that more, because you're going to have a Portugal appearing everywhere. They also need to own a level 3 centre of trade on Goa, so this is a goal going for India, and they need to take Goa, which is that province, which is, in fact, a centre of trade. They need to take it, and they need to turn it into a level 3 centre of trade, and they need to do the same in Macau. Hello.
So, Holland's apparently having issues with the AI, because they did the whole joint player thing. I don't know what you wanted to do. Like, we can rehost, I guess?
What exactly is their problem?
I don't know. He just said he was having trouble with the AI, and they asked. He didn't really say anything to me. It was somebody just put a message out saying, "Hey, I'm having trouble with the AI because of the co-op thing."
Because there shouldn't be an AI.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'll pull him into my chat thingy and I'll have a word.
All right, just let me know.
Okay. As soon as I remember who on earth Holland is.
Swazzle. He's in Gelderland.
Yeah, I see him. Hello. So what's the problem with Holland?
AI took over, and I'm co-oping with AI right now.
Oh, because Maurici left.
Yeah.
I would suggest quitting the game and then try and hot join back in.
Okay.
I'll bring Helson back in as well, just so he knows what's happening. Because he's hosting the game, I'm not. Hey, Helson.
He's going to hot join?
He's going to hot join, yeah.
Alright.
So what I think happened is basically when Maurici left, the AI took over for Maurici, forgetting that there was actually another player playing as well. So I'm hoping that when Squazzle leaves and then hot joins in, the AI will go, oh, okay, there's a player here now.
Fair enough.
So we'll see. Anyway, you can go back to your channels if you want. I'll put you where. Where were you?
I got it.
Okay. Alright, so hopefully that fixes that problem. If not, we will need to do a rehost so that Holland gets back in again. So I guess that is a little tip. Don't do co-ops if one of the players is going to leave. So Maurici is the usual Dutch player, but he knew he wasn't going to be here today, and we did get a replacement for him, a substitute for this session. Oh, and we have a Netherlands. Fantastic. We'll talk about that in a minute. So the sub player was going to be playing at the same time as Maurici, so that Maurici could sort out peace deals, and then Squazzle would take over. But clearly when Maurici left, the AI was like, oh, the player's gone, I should take over now. And then, yeah, there was actually still a player there. But anyway, the Netherlands has formed, which is in time because it means that all of the colonial nations are actually going to be orange coloured. So I was a little bit concerned that because they're attack switching from Holland to Castile, they'd have the kind of purpley colour for the colonial nation in the Caribbean. But no, because he's already formed the Netherlands, the province colours have changed, which also means the colonial nation colour, when it's formed, will change. And yeah, we have we have a Netherlands. So, are we waiting for any other nations to tag switch? Possibly Castile? No, because Castile needs provinces like Barcelona, which is currently owned by Catalonia. That's not Aragon, that's Catalonia. Aragon's down here. And here. Although their flags are very similar.